So, did we turn out all right?
I think we did. Mm-hmm. And I think we did not. It depends on what you're looking at. A lot of people are forced to face their issues once they become parents. Mm-hmm. You can experience childhood trauma and go along life without really needing. But then the minute you get a child and they start triggering you and they start pulling out a lot of things and heavily emotive and all that, that's when you realize, oh my goodness, this is just way beyond me just trying to sort this out. I talk about carpenter parenting and farmer parenting. A carpenter parent is the one who would be like black and white, right or wrong, a child fixing the child all the time. Then we have the farmer. And then the farmer, yes, you still have a picture of what it is that you want, because, we can't not have standards. Yeah. We can't not have an image of what it is that
a destination.
A destination.
Of where we are going.
Exactly. But you also are aware that there are other factors at play. You're also aware that you're nurturing a human being. You're not fixing a piece of furniture. Yeah. Both sides, we find ourselves in extreme. So we're not really finding a middle ground, because there's an extreme where I do not want to raise my children the way I was raised. Yes. And so there's a tendency to become a lot more permissive, because we don't have the tools to be able to draw those lines. And then, of course, now with the older generations, it's black and white, authority structure, what's the big deal? Yes. And even when I work with those Gen Xers who are in crisis and start giving them the tools, they're like, my parents didn't have this thing, so why do I have to do
And I turned out all right.
And that's another conversation. That's a whole other conversation. Yeah. What all right means. Yes. How do we unpack all right?
Yeah, you're actually going to unpack that as you... Hello, everybody. Welcome to Connecting Generations, a space where we're having conversations on how different generations connect across different aspects of their life. Now, today we are going to be talking about parenting and just seeing how that parenting role affects, impacts, what exactly does it do to who we are and how we connect. And joining me today is a dear friend, mentor in the parenting space, and who I call the parenting coach, Dr. Carol. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that we have exchanged seats.
I know.
I mean, this is just...
I know, and congratulations.
Thank you so
Sharon.
much.
This is amazing.
Thank you so much. I'm honored that you're here, and I'm looking forward to the conversations we're going to be having.
I am too.
Right?
Yes.
So this is going to be a bit interesting because I feel like I know what you do.
Yeah.
But the audience doesn't. So please tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
So I do... on the outset, coaching and therapy. I also teach at university level. I teach psychology. But on a day-to-day, I work with parents and caregivers, anyone who has children in their space. And I combine both coaching and therapy depending on the need. I have one-on-one sessions I have with parents. I do parenting programs. I have a parenting program that I take 10 weeks. I do speaking engagements. Everything surrounds just equipping those who have children in their space to understand themselves better and to know to understand their children better and to be able to just be clear about the kind of environment they need to provide for their kids to thrive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How is that going? See how society has changed. How is that going?
9 years down the line, because I started in 2017, in a more formal, structured way in 2017. 9 years down the line, I have to say that it's going well. There's a lot more openness to people getting the support that they need. There's a lot more parents voluntarily seeking out help. So I think I started off where you give so much information, you keep giving information, trying to be relevant. But now I'm at a place where people actually seek out my services, actually seek out information that they need and support that they need. So it's going well. There's a lot more openness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So who do you get to see more? I mean, in terms of the clients that you're dealing with or the people that you're coaching, do you work more with men or women, meaning moms or dads, or male caregiver? Because I know uncles and aunties are part of your clientele. And what generation has become receptive to this?
Yeah, a huge percentage of my clients are moms. And I think just women, naturally we seek out information. I think it's faster to just acknowledge, oh my gosh, I'm stuck, and not trying to sort it out yourself so much. And you know what, this way I can get out there and look for information.
Yeah.
So a huge percentage are women. But I must say again, things are really changing. In 2025, last year, I honestly had more dads seeking out these services than moms. But when I have like a parenting program, it's like a 70-30%, 70
Yeah,
women
70 being the women.
Yes, yes. But again, more dads are again voluntarily seeking out this information. In terms of generation, I am a Gen X. Not many of my clients are Gen Xers. A lot of my clients are millennials. A lot of them older millennials, younger millennials. So, and then of course the older Gen Zs. So I do get a lot of the millennial parents. I guess they are a lot more open to getting support. Or maybe they just have a lot more information or come across, information around trauma, information around. And so there's a lot of, I don't want to raise my child the way I was raised.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a huge percentage of my clients are millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like what you're saying about the awareness.
Yeah.
How significant is this parenting role to someone's life?
Just life in general. Oh my goodness. I think, again, I'll say for sure, a lot of people are forced to face their issues once they become parents. You can experience childhood trauma and go along life without really needing. But then
the minute
you get a child and they start triggering you and they start pulling out a lot of things and heavily emotive and all that, that's when you realize, oh my goodness, this is just way beyond me just trying to sort this out or cope. So it's very significant. I think parenting forces you to look at yourself more. Parenting pushes you to a place where you have to do a lot of more prioritization, multitasking, mentoring, all those things to an extent that you would never be able to do that if you did not have children. So I think for me, parenting really drives your identity in many ways. Yeah.
Okay. So I like that you're saying, yes, it will drive your identity. So here I am, and I'm a millennial or an older Gen Z. How are you seeing it varying? And this time, not just with your clients, because you've also said that Gen Xers are not coming to you. Is that they don't need parenting or they're done with parenting?
There's, I think,
so now
a lot of Gen Xers, when they come, it's because there's a crisis and they've just been pushed like, okay, I need support because I'm in a crisis. Yeah. Not willingly.
Yes.
The younger millennials and older Gen Zs, they have a lot more information, a lot more awareness that there's a gap.
Yeah.
So what was the question again?
Now, what the differences you're seeing in their parenting?
Oh, in their parenting.
Yes. Yeah.
With Gen Xers, we are bigger on authority. We are bigger on obedience. There's a lot of black and white. It's either this or that. So what are the big issues? With the younger millennials or the younger parents, 25 to 35, 40, between 25 to 40, they're a lot more cautious. They're a lot more open to negotiations. Lines are not very strictly drawn. There's a lot of let's talk to our children, let's listen to them, let's give them an opportunity. They are big, of course, because of the mental health, trauma, information, and all that. They're like, what can I do different? So they pause a little bit more. But the older generations were more like, you know what, it's either this or that. What's the big deal? And then, of course, that's now when you start hearing the wars between these two generations, where now the younger generations are told they are entitled. You know, there's a sense of entitlement and all that, a perception of that. But for the younger parents, really, it's not entitlement. It's, I am being careful. I want to be able to create an environment. I want to raise my child differently from how I was raised. And you'll see that now both sides, we find ourselves in extreme. So we are not really finding a middle ground, because there's an extreme where I do not want to raise my children the way I was raised.
Yes.
And so there's a tendency to become a lot more permissive, because we don't have the tools to be able to draw those lines. And then, of course, now with the older generations, it's black and white, authority structure, what's the big deal?
Yes.
And even when I work with those Gen Xers who are in crisis and start giving them the tools, they're like, my parents didn't have these things, so why do I have to do
And
that?
I turned out all right.
And you know, that's another conversation. That's a whole other conversation. What all right means.
Yes.
How do we unpack all right?
You're actually going to unpack that as you sort of like address this next issue of how is it showing up as at work? Because this is supposed to be helping us have conversations about being well even in the workplace. So how is this parenting thing showing up at work? And you can squeeze in the I turned out all right.
I turned out right. You know, I think because of being raised from very reactive spaces, being raised in spaces where it's my way or the highway, one of the things, and the younger people watching the older generations, they're like, at work as well, I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want to be used. So they are fighting a lot more. There's a lot of, I'm doing this because of my mental health. We talk a lot about toxicity. Like, this is a they talk a lot about toxicity. They're like, this is a toxic environment. So again, you see it play out. There's such a mismatch. There's such a lack of understanding between those two generations. So we all are coming from somewhere. I think and it will be important for us to really just take a lot more time to listen to each other, because our points are valid. It's the how, it's the tools themselves to actually merge together. That's where the issue is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did we turn out all right?
I think we did. And I think we did not. It depends on what you're looking at.
Well,
I think that there's a lot of resilience, inner resilience that was built, not because, you see, the thing is, we always say, I turned out all right because I was beaten. Because that's usually the thing that we use. Or my parents didn't.
Like, we're trying to defend the thing that everybody is fighting. So then we say we turned out all right.
We turned out all right.
Did we turn out all right?
That's a really good question. You know, a lot of these mental health spaces and behavioral health spaces, we don't have a direct answer of yes and no. We always say it depends.
It depends.
It depends on the lens through which you're using to determine what is all right and what is not. And I think there are advantages that come with how we were brought up. I think that I personally see a lot more tolerance and patience with the older generation. But also in terms of relationships, I think we not being able to speak up and speak out, we have been pushed to have a lot of other unhealthy coping mechanisms, you know? And so it really depends. It depends on what you're looking at.
Okay.
I don't think we are better off than the younger generations for having been beaten. You know?
Okay, so that is something that a new parent would actually not used as an SI unit or as a checklist of if I'm beating my child, then I'm doing right. Okay. So what are some things that we can say that a parent needs to look out for to know whether they're doing right?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. To look out, to know whether they are doing right.
Are they doing
the right thing?
Yeah.
I think just for me, one of the biggest things that I talk about and I support parents in is self-awareness. Am I working on myself? Am I reactive as opposed to responsive? How am I interpreting a child's behavior?
Yeah.
I think for a parent to know whether or not they're doing well, they really have to do a lot of soul searching, a lot of self-management to be able to say, okay, this decision I'm making, it may not be perfect, but at least I know that the tools that I'm using now are tools that I have thought through. I have thought through, I have worked on. I think self-awareness is really at the base, at the core of whether or not you are doing right. And just how you're interpreting a child's behavior. We get into these spaces. We want our children to be the SI unit of our success,
Yeah, sort of like they're the ones that are defining whether we are doing well or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they are the extension of our ego. So if they are doing well, if they are struggling, then I am doing well.
Yeah, it's a reflection.
It's a reflection. Okay. So just being able to release that as well and to know that a child may be doing well and not doing well, depending on many things. It could be something that is it age appropriate? Have they been trained to do what, have you created an environment to train them to do something? So I think I would answer in general by saying a parent who is one self-aware and cuts themselves a lot of slack. You give yourself a lot of compassion because there is very, I talk about carpenter parenting and farmer parenting.
Carpenter versus farmer.
Versus farmer parenting.
Yeah.
And I think I don't want to put a parent in a position where they're saying, now I'm doing right. It's this process that I am going through. I am still learning. So a carpenter parent is the one who would be like black and white, right or wrong, a child fixing the child all the time. And so that question for me is quite hard for me to just handle because I feel like it's more of, unless I am having a carpenter mentality, that's when I will have an SI unit of whether I'm doing right or wrong.
Okay. And I guess that's where the self-awareness aspect that you were talking about comes in, where I will be aware whether I'm a carpenter or a farmer. Okay. So carpenter, fixing, straight lines,
you have
clear
a picture.
angles.
Yes, you have a picture of what this child should be doing and how they should be behaving, and not just for the child, but even for yourself. By this age, they must be doing this and they must be doing that. Then we have the farmer, and like the farmer, yes, you still have a picture of what it is that you want, because we can't not have standards. We can't not have an image of what it is that you
destination,
want. A destination,
of where we are going.
Exactly. But you also are aware that there are other factors at play. You're also aware that you're nurturing a human being. You're not fixing a piece of furniture. You are aware, and again, that's where the self-awareness comes in. You're aware that there are some seasons you will not see any change.
Yes.
You will literally not see any change.
Yeah.
Why? Because even like a farmer, you put the, seed in the soil and
you have no idea.
Yeah. And you know what? It will take time for the plant to sprout.
Yeah.
So being like, not having such distinct expectations that things have to be a certain way. I think it's what I would encourage for us to be more process oriented as well. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm looking at this worker in the workplace who's working hard to be whatever kind of parent. They have set a goal, they have some sort of destination that they know they're working towards. And so they have looked out and seen, so this is who I am. I'm building my self-awareness.
Yeah.
How can they tell that their child is doing okay? So I've done what I need to do.
Yes.
How is my child?
How is my child?
Yeah.
I think it's by getting the information that helps you know whether whatever it is that you expect of your child is age appropriate. Just being able to have that information, because what a child is doing, your expectation of a child at 10 years should be different from your expectation of a child at 16.
Okay.
Yes. So how do I know that my child is doing okay? Number one, is the expectation I have age appropriate?
Is it age appropriate?
Is it age appropriate?
Yeah.
Am I expecting my 6-year-old, and sometimes we do that, to do things that the part of the brain that is in charge of whatever those things, problem solving, having empathy, thinking through decisions. We want our children to not forget things, to not react. Is it really fair to expect that of a 6-year-old whose part of the brain that is really in action is the emotional brain? They do things more instinctively. So for me, until I understand what is age appropriate, I'm not here to begin to say whether my child is doing well or not until I know that I am expecting. And those are the things that we really talk about in our sessions.
Yeah.
Like, let's step back and let's see, where is this child developmentally?
Yes. Yeah.
And the other thing is also how much work have you put in as a parent? Because again, you will expect a child to know how to make a bed. You'll expect a child to just be able to be empathetic and to share, but have you really taken time to train and to provide the right environment to train for that skill?
Yeah.
So, and one of the things I tell parents is that every misbehavior is a skills gap.
Every misbehavior is a skills gap.
Yes.
Expound on that.
You want your child to speak to you respectfully. Have you actually sat down to train them?
On how to be respectful.
And how to be respectful.
Okay.
And the training comes through, a huge part of it through mentorship, through you, the way you are respectful. You want your child to be able to wake up in the morning and be ready by 8 o'clock or by whatever time. Have you actually taken time to train? And that's where the generational conversations come in.
Tell me.
Because older parents will be like, nobody trained me. Why should I? And it becomes a conversation of, the world trained you. Your environment trained you. It's because of everything that was in the environment that caused you to just naturally know, I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, back to, is my child doing well?
Yes.
Again, it's stepping back and asking age appropriateness, creating an environment to actually train. And then when it's not happening, that's when I can actually say, now, because I have trained, because it's age appropriate, now I can actually say this child is not doing well, and this child is doing well. I think the other thing is now also seeing whether or not you have trained in character. A child who is confident, a child who is self-motivated, a child who takes initiative. And you see all those things. You still have to train.
You still have to be training them.
You still have to create an environment for them. And it's not, I don't mean school training at lesson 1, lesson 2.
Curriculum being followed.
No, there's not curriculum being followed.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into, first of all, how you're modeling it, the conversations you are having with the child, and just being also quite structured and saying, you know what, I don't have to teach everything.
Yes.
Let me teach this one thing in this season.
So take it season by season.
Take it season by season.
Now, please tell us a bit about the child who looks like they have learned everything and are therefore being praised because of how mature they are. This child is so grown up. They're so responsible. So the child is actually outwardly doing very well. But between you and I, we know it's not age appropriate. So that's where a 6-year-old behaves as though they're 10. Where a 16-year-old behaves as though they're 35, Tell us a bit more about how that child gets there. Because they end up being, what do we call it?
Parentified? No, not parentified.
Well, some would be. Yes, there's some adultification. But then there's also they're the pride, they're the crown of a parent's joy.
Yeah.
So any parent listening to this may say, oh, those are not my problems because my children are very mature. Yeah. How does that child get there?
One, it could be personality. It actually could be personality. There are kids who naturally tend towards being responsible, being out there, and now the parent sits back and be like, naturally, this, is happening.
Yes.
I think it's just to be cautious and to go back and ask and remember that there's still the age appropriate space. So there's the personality, but sometimes also the child is faced with situations where they have to grow up quickly. I would just tell the parent, don't make assumptions and also don't blanket it all and just say, since they are self-motivated in this space, then they are okay generally. Yeah. Because I've had spaces where it's actually those high-performing kids, the children who get the awards, who are top in everything, who are very responsible in leadership qualities, and you are in the mental health space. Yes. Those are the kids who really, really struggles with their emotions, and they are covering and they're using those outward things as a performance, as their identity, as their way of coping. And then suddenly a child just crashes out of nowhere. And most of the time, when they'll crash, just before the major exam.
Just at the point when they need to be coming fully into,
And the parents panic.
Yeah.
And the child, that's when you realize this is a child.
Yeah.
That's when you realize that they just can't get themselves to do what it is that they are expected to do. So I think for me, I would say, let's not make assumptions. Let's really major more on emotional related conversations. Let's talk about feelings, not just about performance. Because kids like that, again, because they're so used to being praised for 1, 2, 3, 4, they find the easiest way to get there, to get that praise.
Because they want that praise.
They want the praise. Yes, okay. They become approval addicts, and so they become very end product oriented, but the process towards it. So you'll see also that they, more and more, they start avoiding doing many things. They're just like, which one gets me the quickest praise, the most praise.
Yes.
And we don't notice that as parents because, again, whatever it is they're doing is really causing us to feel good.
And it's pleasing us enough for us and reducing the time and effort that it takes to do the journey.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now when a child grows up like this, they land in a workplace, right? Let's start with how does this actually show up at work?
Yeah.
Because then we're going to go to how it affects our well-being, right? So I have grown up a certain way and then now here I am in the workplace. So no longer a child. How am I showing up at work?
Now, showing up at work as, again, still just focusing on the one thing that will bring the instant praise and the constant approval. So you are avoiding a lot of other duties that you're supposed to take. And at a place of work, you are expected to do more than just that one thing that brought you there. So you see someone start avoiding, a lot of avoidance, a lot of self-doubt, a lot. Then, now starting to cover things up, a few lies here and there, just so that you can stay, focused on.
And what is called meeting the demand, meeting the requirements, bare minimum.
Yeah, the bare minimum. That's when you also now, I know you said you will get to the mental health part, but it does affect your well-being, because you're expected to do more. So that's when we start talking about this is a toxic environment. This is not what I came to do here. So a lot of pushback in terms of what it is that you are expected to do. That flows into the relationships that you have, at your place of work, because now you can't be part of a team and there's a lot more expected of you.
Okay. So then now talk to the person who has found themselves in that situation. This is the way I was brought up. Now I'm becoming more aware that I should be somebody different. It's not working for me at work. There's this thing that we keep hearing about, parent yourself. What does even parenting yourself look like? Because I've identified my parents had a gap, but here I am and I want to change. How do I parent myself for the sake of being well at work and beyond?
I think one is to remember that it's a journey. I think the biggest part of it is you have come to an awareness,
Yes.
that is a big deal. Just coming to that space of awareness that I'm actually struggling. Okay. I'm actually struggling. And so awareness is a really big part. But then now that becomes a step by step. You may need to go for coaching, you may need to go for therapy to be able to just be able to get that support on the tools to help you to be more self-reflective. But that before you get there, there are things you can do. Just really opening yourself to learning what pushes me, what belief systems do I have around this space? How did this thing affect me, and how do I start making it right? You've mentioned parenting yourself. Parenting yourself basically is giving yourself. You have the capability to give yourself that which your parent did not give you. And that's a very important space to be, because sometimes we get stuck on what we were not given. We get stuck on what it is, the gaps. But and a lot of research shows that if you are able to find ways to give yourself the kindness, the compassion, the patience that you did not get when you were young, then you are in a better place to begin the healing process for yourself and righting those quote-unquote wrongs.
Yes, making them right.
Yeah.
So what are some practical ways somebody then can do that? How practical ways that I can extend kindness to myself and continue walking that journey?
Practical ways. First of all, we talked about, if you really don't feel like you are able to do it yourself, get help. Get the coach. And I think a really big part of it is getting professional help.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So that's too absolute. It's easier to get the help than to try and heal myself.
Yeah. I think that sometimes, let's just be practical on one or two things.
Yes.
For example, I get into conflict with my work, with my workmate. Yeah. Okay. And I react. I get really angry. And I say things that I'm like, in my right mind, I wouldn't say, or I send this really, really angry email. Self-compassion means going back and first of all, validating and saying, I didn't have those tools. The word that people like to use now is triggered. I was triggered. Yes. And so I reacted. Self-compassion says, no wonder. There was no other way I could have reacted. But that's not excusing it. It's just being aware that your brain was trying to protect you. Your brain misinterpreted this thing. And so you have to find a way of protecting yourself. And then asking yourself, where did this anger come from? How did I interpret what my
colleague
did? Yes. How did I interpret it? So we start thinking about the belief systems that we have and the stories that we build around certain behaviors. This one was just trying to put me down, or maybe they are jealous of me and all that.
Yes, the
stories we start to mix. And so we begin to think, is that really true or is that really a fact? Is it just my interpretation or my perception? So it's a very slow journey of going inward. Yes. And that's why I say you probably will be getting more support if you're seeing a professional, but in very practical way. It's one thing to do that for yourself one time, but to be able to just get into the practice, you're better off putting yourself structures in place to be able to look inward and to focus.
Okay. How much can we leverage on the structure of connection, right? Where I'm connecting with peers. Tell us a bit about that. So, because I know you can't walk this journey alone. I don't necessarily trust a therapist. I don't have the money for a coach, etc. Tell us a bit about the value of having connections that will then support you on this journey.
I for sure, connection is big. We get injured in community, and we get healed in community. Okay. So connection is important because one, it helps normalize these experiences. You're not very isolated. When you are having conversations, and that's one thing I love about this generation that's online millennials, creating communities where we have similar experiences, because you don't feel very alone in that space.
Yeah.
So connection definitely is important. Again, we have to be careful that we are not just creating groups where we're doing pity parties.
Yes,
we're doing pity parties.
Yeah.
But there's a level of healing that happens in knowing that you're not the only one going through this. I feel that there's still skills that we need in a very structured way to be able to support us in the long term. But just the immediate one, a space where I'm your friend and I'm going through something, you're not a therapist, but I call you and I just pour it out, that is a whole chunk of healing that has happened just because I have verbalized it, just because I have talked about it. So we cannot underestimate the power of connection. But we still have to really create spaces for actual skills.
To learn those skills.
To learn those skills.
Okay. So how can organizations then support this process? Speak to leaders and founders.
I think we need to make policies around these things, not just, let's just create a space for people to talk. Like, we really have to generate or design policies so that it's something that is written. There is something that we are following. There is a system that we are following. Without putting it into policy, we are really just creating spaces to vent, and so for it to be effective in the long term, we have to take it seriously. We have to come up with standards. We have to come up with procedures that create spaces like that. And I'll say, for example, like even in the parenting space, I think that we need, when a parent is asking for flexibility, it shouldn't be flexibility that you're doing me a favor. It should really be based on policy. I think a lot of younger parents are really struggling with that because, again, for us, being from a different generation, why are you asking for flexibility? Why are you asking for flexible hours?
You are used to following what the authority says you will follow.
Exactly. And so what I see mostly is people trying to just talk with your immediate boss, the one above you, and trying to have a better relationship with that person so that they can do you a favor, to give you flexible hours. And that's the same in the mental health space. Like, let me just tell you my personal issues so that now you can feel a certain way for me and give me the flexibility and the room that I need. We really need to step back and insist that these things are written down. They become procedures so that it's no longer a favor that we are doing.
Okay. All right. And I like the direction we are going now in sort of giving organizations tips to make their space safe, comfortable, ideal, good for parents. Okay. How about co-parenting? Where I'm not the primary parent, I have, and where I'm bringing co-parenting was become a very big thing that we need to be talking about today. And with it, of course, has come the conflict of parenting. It's not just that we're parenting together, but we are conflicting in our parenting journey. How can an organization support that? Yes. Again,
making sure that I think just being able to to do what do we call it? These evaluations that we do,
and the surveys and needs assessments.
So that we ask the right questions.
Because we're looking at developing HR departments that are family sensitive, not just people sensitive, but family sensitive.
And so you will not be able to even identify the co-parenting challenges until you go in there and actually ask the right questions so that you're able to understand the support that this family needs. And I will say still that co-parenting struggles are at the base of it. You'll find that the same struggles even with the parents that are together. I think, again, it goes back to your self-awareness, your own self-management. And so, again, just doing that needs assessment to be able to know what the issues really are so that now you are addressing based on the needs that are there.
Okay. So do you have 1 or 2 questions that an organization can ask on such a survey that would get to as close to the issue as possible? Yeah.
I think for me to ask a direct parenting related question, what are your perplexities as a parent? What are you struggling in your parenting? Like ask directly. Yes.
Yeah.
Not beat around the bush, but what is your forefront perplexity you're having as a parent right now in this season of your life? So just being able to give that open-ended question so that now they can be able to say, is it time that I need more time with my children? Do I need more flexible hours and things like that? But I think it's bringing out the actual questions that says, what are your perplexities as a parent?
Yeah. Okay.
Direct question.
Ask the question direct to the issue that you actually want to address.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've asked the question. I've done the self-awareness. I'm building this organization where we're becoming more and more family sensitive and family friendly, right? How can then the employee, what are some things that the employee needs to be looking for in an organization? Because parenting is part of a life journey.
Yeah.
Right? So here you are getting into the parenting space and you want to choose a job or choose a position. What should I be looking out for as a parent when it comes to making employment or workplace decisions?
Choosing an organization that is family friendly.
From the outside.
What should I be looking for? Yes. I think again, I'll go back to policies.
Yes.
You actually sit and ask, what is it about their policies that are family friendly? Are they giving flexible hours? Is there leave not just for the mom, but also for the dad?
Yes.
Is there a space where I can actually say, when my children are younger, I would like to come in at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And I would like to be given flexible working conditions where I can work from home. When my children are in their teenagers, for example, right now, my son is doing his exams this year. The same period that he's doing exams is going to be one of the busiest periods, and it will require me to travel. So I'm sitting here asking myself, I know there are no policies that just say I can take leave because my son is doing exams.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking, how will I talk to my immediate boss? There has to be another level of relationship. Honestly, I shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
I should be able to look at the policies and be able to say, I'm taking 2 months off so that I can be able to be here for my son and because it is important. But we are afraid to do that. It looks very minimal, or it's something
petty.
Really petty. Exactly. It looks very petty. So for me, there's a lot of awareness that needs to be created around this space. There's a lot of importance that has to be put in the parenting role so that, because we have separated, we are even embarrassed to say I need time off. And it's even worse for dads. There's a level
what does a dad need time off for?
Exactly. What does a dad need time off for? To do what exactly at home? So I would go back to, let's really be serious about the policies that we are making. And as an outsider trying to come into this organization, I don't know if there are organizations that, have that level of clarity
laid out.
Yeah, okay. Laid out when it comes to the policies.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, are there advantages that people have in the workplace by virtue of being parents?
You know what? I think when we look at it in the sense that there are transferable skills.
Those transferable skills. What are the transferable skills that we get from the journey of parenting that we can use?
Yes. I think being able to, emotional regulation, I would say number one.
Breathe without killing somebody.
Yes. managing, just being able to regulate your emotions. The fact that there's such a huge level of mental load that we carry as parents, but somehow we are able to prioritize, we're able to juggle, we're able to do all those things. The thing, Shalom, is that we don't see it that way. We don't see that we can actually lift those skills.
That's why I've asked that question.
Put them in the place of work. And being able to have a relationship and still draw boundaries is something that if you hack that in your parenting space, you can really lift it into the workspace. But are we taking time to actually see the parallels is the issue? So being able to prioritize, like I said, emotional regulation, just having a mentorship role. Are we being mentors at work the same way we are being mentors at home? If we are able to remove that barrier, we'll realize there's a lot of transferable skills that we can transfer in both areas. But it does take self-awareness. Because one of the things, sometimes when I get parents come through, you're getting someone who's really managing teams. A CEO managing teams and able to do things very effectively, but they're really second-guessing themselves at home.
Talk to that person.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I separated the two lives so much
exactly
that they're not seeing how they can leverage on the skills they have gotten in one for the other.
Yes. And I think for me, talking to that person is, first of all, you have what it takes. You actually have the skills. But what is coming in between is the emotional investment you have with your child that you do not have. There's a sense of level of detachment that you have. Valid, expected, those are things that will happen. But think about it as just the process that you have used to make it at work. You can borrow it and bring it. So this time it's out at work.
From work being transferred into home.
From work, because you already have the skills. Now what you really need to do is learn to process the belief systems that you have that are separating, that are causing you to see this child different and to see, because again, our ego is in that place, and our identity is in that place. If we are able to just, first of all, know we have what it takes to manage this space at home, then now we do the deeper emotional work, which again, through groups, through processes, through connections with people, but also through therapy and coaching. It's just something that we need to know that it's an option that we have to help us to separate those things.
Okay. All right. So now you can probably talk to the non-parent. And by non-parent, I mean somebody who has either chosen not to be a parent or just is not a parent, not yet there. It's not something that they have thought about. So here we are talking about how we were parented, advantages of being a parent, transferable skills that you can get from this side and this way. What if you're not a parent, right? How can you learn from parents, or what can you learn from parents that you then apply?
I think at the end of the day, parenting or no parenting, we can't avoid relationship skills, and I think we need to see it that way, that at the end of the day, it's about skills of connection, skills of relationship, and we tend to separate these things. I'm not a parent, so I don't need that. So skills of relationships, skills of self-awareness, skills of looking at yourself. Again, people call them soft skills, but I don't know. I actually find them to be very tough skills. I just find soft skills is really minimized.
It's reducing
so I think it's just to remember that you cannot escape that journey just because you are because you are not a parent. What are you doing to do the work on yourself, to heal, if it's trauma, past trauma and things like that, to be able to work on that, to heal whatever space that you have to heal those things. So we cannot run away from it just because we are not parents. And at the bottom, at the baseline, we're looking for cultivating our relationship skills and cultivating our connection skills. Conflict resolution, that's another transferable skill.
Okay, to speak a bit about that.
That's another transferable skill. Being able to bounce back after fighting with your teenager, and saying things that you shouldn't have said, and going back and saying, where did this come from? I was anxious. I'm feeling anxious about this child. I feel like we are running out of time. And I said things that I shouldn't have said. And just being able to accept that there was an inner experience that I was going through, and acknowledging it and taking accountability for it, and going back and actually apologizing. And that's part of conflict resolution. It's part of having conversations where we repair relationships. When you do that at home, it becomes a lot more easier to do it also at a place of work. So you see how, whether you're a parent or not, this is a very fundamental skill that you need.
Yeah.
So I think just being able to not separate those. This is workspace. This is home space. This is a parenting space. This is a no parenting space. We all are wired for connection.
Yes.
And we need to cultivate the skills to be able to connect, whether we are parents or not, whether we are at work or whether we are at home.
Yeah.
If we're able to integrate that and just change that mindset, I think we've been a better place to have better relationships all around.
Yeah. Okay. So I think in closing, I want to ask, what can one do to switch off? Right? So these roles are integrated, but at some point I need a break. What are some practical things different parents, male, female, age, what's it called, generation specific? What can we do to switch off?
First of all, I don't know if switching off is realistic.
You can switch off and then the current is... Okay, anyway, so switching off is not realistic.
I don't know if it's realistic. I think it's learning to be present in the moment. And those are the tools. Because I think when we just say switch off, it's like now we are asking too much. And yet that's part of who we are, part of our identity. But if I say learning to be present in the moment, to be fully present, I am here, my teenage child is talking to me right now.
So we are here.
Okay, we are here, and they're looking at me. And I am just being able to hold space. As they're talking to me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I am panicking. Okay, now I can actually recognize that I am panicking, because what it is they're telling me shows that they are not ready and exams are coming next week. Okay, so being present in that moment means, first of all, just stepping back and allowing space for this child to say what it is that they need to say. Is it shocking me? Yes. I don't have to react or respond perfectly, but I just have to be aware that whatever it is they are telling me is bothering me. I'm interpreting it's causing me to panic, to be anxious. So being present just means being able to be aware about how this conversation is affecting me. Okay. That means, I guess in that moment you have switched off from other things and you're now fully present in this space.
You don't switch off 100%. You can switch off certain aspects so that you focus and be fully present for others.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And learning to be fully present for others starts with learning to be fully present
to yourself and for yourself.
To yourselves and for yourself, yes. And just having those 10 minutes to yourself to process how my day has been or how my day has gone so far. It could be 10 a.m., but you're taking your 5-minute break. So you can switch off at work just by taking 10 minutes of being fully present to yourself. Having, we underestimate the power of the body and the sensations of the body sometimes. Just being able to breathe in and out calms your nervous system. So that's a way of switching off, just being able to take your 5-minute break, 5-minute break, getting out of the desk and going away somewhere and just walking to the door and back. Those are the practical ways that we can be able to be more present with ourselves. And when we are switching off, we're switching off more from the clutter in our minds, as opposed to from this role to this role. Because the clutter follows us everywhere.
Yeah,
the clutter follows. So I think in learning to switch off within yourself, it helps you to be more present for yourself and be more present for others. And it's a muscle that you build over time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm inviting you to start working through the process of building this muscle. You don't just succeed in work by being a good parent, but you succeed in work and at home by looking at yourself as a whole human being and seeing what skills can you transfer from one role to another, borrow and leverage on as you're going through this process. Secondly, it's assessing and being self-aware and accepting. I think I like what you said about self-compassion, accepting that you went through a journey being parented yourself, and there are things that you picked that won't work for you and things that you picked that may actually serve you well. Leverage on those and do that journey well as an individual. And this goes to even those who are not parents. Yes, we are listening from a parenting coach, but you were parented before you got to where you are. So I'm hoping that this has really been helpful. Carol, I'd like us to play a game. Why? Mainly because part of this journey includes playing.
Yes.
And I think you will succeed well as a parent when you also learn how to play with your children, with your colleagues, with yourself, right? So join me in playing this game. I'm going to ask that you spin the wheel, and wherever it is that you will land, we'll pick a card from here and you answer the question. So let me just open it up a little so that it stands, and you can go ahead and spin.
All right. No control where it will go. So let's do this.
Yeah.
Right hand, left hand, does it matter? Right, do it again. We're fine.
Are you fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is.
All right. So here we go.
Yeah.
Pick any card and tell us what it says.
What do you do so that you are not bored?
Okay.
Oh gosh, a whole list. How much time do we have?
I want to take notes. So what do you do so that you're not bored?
For me, so that I am not bored, I love reading. So I read a lot. And now I e-read, I read actual books. I don't read actual books as much as I
the soft copy.
Yes, the soft copy. Yes. So I do. I am a big information sponge. So when boredom is setting in, I will tend towards reading. I love movies, so Netflix for me.
Netflix is a good thing.
Netflix is also a way of just taking away the boredom.
Yeah.
I have recently taken up crocheting and knitting.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. It's still very, very plain right now because I'm just doing the knit and purl. I don't know if I want to commit myself to actual patterns and all that. So I've recently taken that up, and it's really calming me down and taking up also the board space.
Okay. All right. So reading, movies, crochet, knitting.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time, for your tips. What is it that how can parents find you? How can they connect with you? And just mention a little about the program that you have and how they can contact you.
Yeah. So Dr. Carolyne Chakua, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok as well.
Oh, wow.
Check out Stawi Camp for Wellbeing because that's the organization that I run. And so online, you just type Stawi Camp for Wellbeing. The programs that I have, right now, I am running a lot of one-on-one coaching sessions. And those ones, again, you can find a lot of information on our website, Stawi Camp for Wellbeing. If you check me out on Instagram as well, you will get a lot of information. There's also a lot of content there that I have created that gives you an idea of how I work.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you once again. Looking forward to many of these conversations.
Me too. And again, congratulations. This was fun and I wish you all the best.
Asante.
I know there's a next level of...
They will be there. Yeah. Yes. So looking forward to seeing you in the next episode. Stay well.